everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and in this video, we're going to be talking about habits that make men unsuccessful and unhappy. So really, this video applies to everyone. I think these habits would tend to make anybody unsuccessful and unhappy, not just men, but my audience is mostly men, so that's who I'm speaking to. You guys have heard me say this before, time and time again, your success is often hidden in your daily routine. There are many habits we have as a society that really just aren't doing us any favors, so let's get into it. Number one, Captain Obvious, straight off the bat here, is not taking care of yourself. Mentally, physically, emotionally, all of the above. And when it comes to your physical health, working out is like a natural antidepressant. So it turns out that a sedentary lifestyle is not only bad for your waistline, but also bad for your mental health. And if you've been around for a minute, you've probably heard me tell you guys this as well, but for all of you that are new, I got a personal trainer, and not to sound dramatic, but it actually changed my life. It gets me out of the house, it pushes me to set good habits and get into a good routine. It is just the best. I'm so much happier, healthier, and confident. So again, for all of you who are currently not working out, I promise it is literally an antidepressant. It is so good for you physically and mentally, and I would highly encourage you guys to start doing it. Also included in not taking care of yourself is the way you show up for yourself, how you dress, your grooming habits, the list goes on. Neglecting your appearance can obviously impact the way that other people perceive you. After all, the way you show up for yourself does speak volumes. This could be impacting your success, your career, your romantic life. But it can also really negatively impact the way that you feel about yourself and your confidence. And more important than the outside, the same thing rings true for the way you're taking care of yourself on the inside as well. Health is wealth. Start fueling your body with the nutrients that it needs and start to prioritize your health. It's been shown that a poor diet can make you feel sluggish, moody, lethargic, depressed. The list goes on, a bunch of nasty crap. And while we're on the topic of prioritizing your health, I am so excited that today's video is sponsored by Ritual. Some nutrients are hard to get enough of from just food alone. Essential for Men is the scientifically developed multivitamin to help fill nutrient gaps in men's diets. Ritual has a team of industry-leading scientists and skeptics who are done with the BS, shady additives, synthetic fillers, even excess nutrients most of us don't actually need. Ritual shows you every labeled ingredient, supplier, and key studies that goes into the vegan-friendly multivitamin. Essential for Men is formulated with 10 key ingredients to help support men's health, including heart, brain, muscle, and immune support. Its formulation includes key high-quality ingredients in bioavailable forms, all in a delayed-release capsule designed to be gentle on an empty stomach. You could label Ritual obsessive. Like all Ritual products, Essential for Men is soy-free, gluten-free, and formulated with non-GMO ingredients. This subscription service supports you, giving you the flexibility you want and the consistency you need. If for some crazy reason you don't love Ritual within the first 30 days, your first order is on them. So if you're interested, go to ritual.com/CourtneyRyan20 or click the link in the description and use code CourtneyRyan20 for 20% off your first month of Ritual. All right, the next habit is focusing on problems instead of solutions and playing the victim. If you think that life is out to get you or you feel helpless, you're less likely to actually take the action required to improve your situation or make things better for yourself. In this point, we can also include pessimism and complaining 24/7. It is illogical to think that everything is going to turn out bad for you, or that you're always going to fail, or that everybody is going to reject you. When you focus solely on the problems instead of the solutions, it really does nothing to make your life any better. You're just sitting there and wallowing in it. But when you focus on solutions, you're figuring out what action you can genuinely take to make your situation better, again, instead of just sitting there focusing or dwelling on the problem. I think a lot of us like to blame other people because it feels like an easier thing to do instead of taking a look in the mirror and thinking, okay, maybe I'm a part of the problem or maybe I'm contributing to this in some way. But it's really powerful when you're self-aware and when you realize that, hey, I make mistakes, it's all right. That's how we learn and we grow from it. Number 3 is one that I think so many people struggle with, and that is overspending. Many people who overspend often have some of these common issues. Number 1, they think material things make them happy. Newsflash, they don't. A new bag might make you excited for a couple days, but then the serotonin boost wears off and you're back to reality. So buying things won't make you happy. Number 2, they're just bad with money. Number 3, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Trying to keep up with the Joneses is a fast track to bankruptcy and not building your wealth. Be responsible with your money. I cannot stress this enough. Set up a budget. This does not mean that you have to be cheap. Cheap and responsible or frugal are completely different things. I'm kind of crazy with my budget. I really try to make sure I understand where all my money's going, making sure I understand my investments. I have a professional helping me with that, so I'm not doing it myself. I am not a financial professional, obviously, so do your own research. But one thing I do know is that how the heck can you get ahead and plan for your future if you're blowing all your money? I know the answer. You can't. This includes all of you who are spending your money trying to impress women, or spending your money on girls on OnlyFans, who probably aren't even the ones talking to you in the first place. And I'll tell you this too, a guy who is responsible with his money is far superior and attractive than a guy who is blowing all his money or being a big spender when he doesn't actually have it. A guy who is financially responsible and who is setting himself up for his future is the ultimate flex. It's giving Giga Chad. My next point is an overuse of social media, and I understand that that sounds ironic coming from me talking to you from YouTube. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is one that I'm currently working on. It's a little bit tough because social media is my job. I feel like I'm constantly connected and wired into it, but I'm trying to get much better about setting boundaries or doing screen time on my phone, because let me tell you something that's a humbling experience when you go into your screen time and you see that you spent 4 hours scrolling on TikTok. That makes you question yourself a little bit. Transparently. And I read something that was super interesting that I wanted to share with you guys really quickly. It says, the Child Mind Institute says that overuse of social media is promoting anxiety and lowering self-esteem in teenagers. The mental health issues resulting from social media can also affect adults. Nobody's safe out here. The Telegraph reports a recent study of 1,500 adult Facebook and Twitter users in which 62% of participants reported feelings of inadequacy and 60% reported jealousy from comparing themselves to other social media users. 30% said using just these two forms of social media made them feel lonely. And it's crazy to me, in a world where we're able to connect to people at our fingertips, we feel lonelier than ever. Because you know why? Communicating with someone on the phone will never be the same or replace in-person connection. I think as humans, even if you're someone who might struggle with a little bit of social anxiety or you're introverted, you still need some sort of human connection, right? I think a lot of us have completely replaced this with our phones, and I think the longer you do it, the more you realize that it's just not the same, right? Like calling my mom is not the same as sitting with her at the kitchen table and talking, or, texting my best friend who lives 4 hours away is not the same as me sitting in her living room catching up with her. So I just think it's really important to still prioritize spending time with people and making time for people in your life that are important to you and that fill you up, rather than just taking it all to your phone or completely digitally. Because again, as much as we want to try to replace human connection with the smartphone, it just is not the same. And I probably sound like a boomer saying that, but it's true. Social media can be wonderful in so many ways. I've learned so much from the internet, but it also has a lot of harmful effects that I think people don't necessarily pay attention to for themselves or completely realize. All of the mindless scrolling clearly does not contribute to your success or your mental well-being, apparently. So is it good for my business to tell you to get off the internet and go outside and touch some grass? Probably not, but truthfully, I don't care. I want you guys to be prioritizing your mental health. If being online makes you feel horrible or is negatively impacting you in some way, understand when it's time to take a little break and walk away from it, right? And I also think just being mindful of the content that you're consuming can really help as well. If you're constantly watching negative, hateful, bitter content, how do you think that's going to start to seep into you and your life? Think about that. And that kind of leads me into my next point here, which is your circle, aka the people you surround yourself with. Take a look at the people you hang out with the most. I want you all to really sit here for a second and list out in your head, pause the video, think about the 5 people that you spend the most time with, or just the people you're around the most. Those people matter. It's so important, and people do not understand the impact of this. If you're hanging around a bunch of negative energy vampires who are sucking the life out of you, how do you think that's going to impact you in your life? Certainly not in a positive way. You really want to surround yourself with people who support you, have goals for themselves as well, things that they're working towards, people who are positive. Those are the people that you want to be around. I noticed a huge shift in my life, my success, my happiness, when I started to really be more mindful of who I was giving my time to and who I was surrounding myself with. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, I can't really control, the fact that I'm around my family all the time. Maybe you live at home with your parents and they're really negative. I understand that some things are out of our control, but you can set boundaries. And again, make sure you're being picky about who you give your time to. They say that you're most like the 5 people that you hang around the most, so something to keep in mind. And when you surround yourself with people who have goals for themselves or who are working towards things or who are successful, I'm not telling you to go out and hang with millionaires hoping that you become a millionaire too, but I do think that when you surround yourself with people who are working towards things or who have goals for themselves or who are positive about their life, who encourage you and support you too, it does make a positive impact on your life as well. Even for myself personally, I can look back at parts of my life and who I was hanging around at the time and clearly see how it was impacting me now. Maybe didn't realize it at the time, obviously, but looking back, it's so easy to see. So I would encourage you to do the same thing and think about the people you hang around and how they impact you and what they're doing in their life. And again, keep in mind, you are most like the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. And the last habit that I see so many people do, including myself, I've been here too, I'm throwing myself into the mix here. I'll be happy when. This is a bad habit and a trap that so many of us are caught up in. Oh, well, I'll be happy when I get a promotion. Well, I'll be happy when I have a girlfriend. Whatever you finish the statement with truly doesn't matter because regardless, you're basing your happiness off of circumstances. This puts way too much emphasis on the circumstances or things in order for you to be happy, which we cannot always control, which leaves you powerless. Constantly looking for the next best thing and thinking that it will all of a sudden bring all this happiness into your life instead of being thankful for what you already have is just going to lead to constant disappointment and unhappiness. Happiness is something that you create for yourself. Of course, there are circumstances and situations that aren't ideal. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control the way that we respond and react to it. You've heard me say that a million times before if you've been around on my channel for a while now. And that's because it's true. Happiness is something that you create for yourself. It's not something that's going to come when you get a new handbag, or you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or you buy a house, or you get a new job, or you get a promotion. If you rely on things or external validation or specific circumstances in order for you to be happy, you will never be happy. So guys, that is all I have for this video. If you liked it or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. I would love for you to let me know down in the comments what are some other habits you think are making people unsuccessful and unhappy. I could absolutely do a part 2 to this video, and I will if you guys want to see it. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.